What happens when a retired hitman becomes a family man and a fat man? Well, that's what Sakamoto Days is about. Now I've broken down the first 3 episodes for you, and I'm going to put timestamps down below. So whether you're new to the series or you're just catching up, I got you. So if you're thinking about watching Sakamoto Days, but you don't know if it's worth your time, I'm here to help you out. I'll just break down episode 1. Let's talk about the animation, the plot, the characters, and let's see if it's actually worth it for you. Alright, that's enough yapping. Let's get straight to it. Now before we could get into anything, we just got to talk about Sakamoto. Who is this dude? Why is the show named after him? Turns out, he was that guy. This dude is a living legend, the #1 assassin, the best of all time, the GOAT. Okay, I don't know about all that. But the truth was, he was feared by all the gang members. He was feared by fellow assassins, pretty much anybody and everybody in the underworld. So if he was so feared and respected, then why did he leave? Why did he retire? Simple answer, the dude found the love of his life. Now if you're living in your mama's basement, you probably can't relate. It's all good, just follow along here. The dude met the love of his life, he started a family, and now he just runs a general convenience store. Now as cool and chill as that sounds, it ain't that easy. You can't just leave the assassin world behind and expect it to not catch up to you. This dude probably spent years and years in that world. Of course he made enemies, and that's basically where the story begins here. Now with a storyline like that, it basically sets it up for a comedy piece or an action piece. But this one is actually a little bit of both. It's a solid blend of comedy and action, and I like it so far. But let's talk about the animation real quick. Do they do a good job? It's hard to say. After only 1 episode, we only got a little small sample of what they can do. The animation style is pretty simple, but I think it's pretty effective actually. The fight scenes, they're pretty crisp, and to me it's satisfying. I feel like the vibe of the animation actually matches the tone of the story they're trying to tell. But something, somehow, some way feels a little bit off about it. I can't put my finger on it exactly, but maybe one of you can tell me. Maybe it's the consistency? Overall, I'd say the animation isn't over the top, it's not incredible, it's not the best, but it's nowhere near the worst. I would say it's about average, maybe slightly above it. Only time will tell how I really feel about it, but episode 1, I'd say it was solid so far. Now let's talk about the characters, because pretty much without the characters, we got no story. In episode 1, we're introduced to 2, Sakamoto of course, and Shin. Now, we've already talked about Sakamoto, so let's talk about Shin real quick. This dude is a rookie assassin, he got some psychic powers, and it looks like he's trying to make a name for himself by taking out Sakamoto. Well, maybe he's not trying to make a name, more so he was ordered to, but still, you gotta do it, right? Now as individuals, maybe these two aren't so interesting, but the character dynamic between the two is what makes them good. I mean, if you look at it, on one hand, we got the legendary assassin Sakamoto, and on the other hand, you got Shin. He's just a new, younger kid who actually looks up to Sakamoto, yet he's ordered to kill him. So to me, that's kind of interesting, because you got one guy who's looking up to a legend. It's like a younger dude looking up to somebody who mastered the craft, and he's wondering how the hell did he get this good, and how is he still this good? And it's this character dynamic here that makes me think that this anime could reach a broad set of audiences. I think if you're somebody who's kind of past their prime, you might like this, because it might remind you of your glory days. And on the other hand, if you're somebody on the younger side who looks up to somebody in any kind of way, this might be for you too. So let's just go ahead and answer the question. Is Sakamoto Days good? Based on episode 1, I'd say it's pretty damn good. The story hooks you, the animation holds up, and the characters are pretty interesting and likable. Now I know we're basing it off just 1 episode, but just off this 1 episode, so far it's pretty funny. I actually like the flow of things. I liked how they introduce characters, and they're already starting to build the world. This anime is probably going to be one of the ones where you can kind of just kick back, relax, enjoy while eating a couple noodles, and just chill. You don't have to think too hard. Hey, but that's just me. Maybe I'm a little biased because I read the manga, and I gotta say that one's pretty good too. If you're here for a quick breakdown of Sakamoto Days episode 2, you're in the right place. We're going to hit the key takeaways so you can keep up with the story, and stick around for the end because that's where the best moment of the episode is. And to be honest, it's probably not what you think. So pretty much off rip, we get introduced to Lu Xiaotang. Now, who the heck is she and why is she obsessed with pink? I couldn't tell you why, but I will tell you that she's the last member of her triad family, and she's being hunted down by a rival mafia family for this mysterious key, and we'll get into that later. Meanwhile, we got Sakamoto and Shin out here just trying to buy some pork buns. I mean, it's more like Sakamoto trying to get them pork buns and Shin's just tagging along. But really, who can blame him? Look at Sakamoto, that dude is a tank. That dude is a fridge. That dude probably cracks sidewalks if he's over here trying. He probably gotta walk through doors sideways. And I respect it though. I mean, I wouldn't say anything to him. But anyway, it's really Sakamoto's love for the authentic pork buns that drives him to say, look Lou, we'll protect you, but in exchange, you gotta make me some of those bomb pork buns. But as soon as he makes that deal, two assassins come up and try to clap him up. Now look, I could talk about this fight, but to be honest with you, y'all just need to go watch the episode for yourself because that fight was hella funny and it was pretty damn entertaining. The thing is, the coolest part about this fight scene is that we actually get to get some backstory as to why Sakamoto retired and why he doesn't kill anymore. We get a quick flashback where Sakamoto's wifey is the one who actually puts a stop to all of that. She basically said, look bro, how you feel about me is how other people feel about the people you kill. And when that message hits him, Sakamoto's life is just changed forever. He becomes the guy that we know from episode 1. Now I gotta say, while I enjoyed the backstory, I felt like something was off. And that's because when I look back and I check the manga chapters, dude, this anime episode actually skipped 2 entire chapters of manga. Now I get it. Not every anime is 100% true adaptation from the manga. It's cool, I get it, there's business aspects of it that affect things. But I gotta say, some of the stuff from the manga that we missed out on were pretty cool, and I'll probably drop a video on that just so that you all could see what kind of differences there were. Now to wrap up the episode, of course, the good guys went out here, and we finally get to see what's up with this key and the vault that it opens. It turns out it's just like a little family treasury. I think it was definitely a little bit more of a wholesome thing because if you're looking for something grand and something just wild, no, you're not gonna get it. It was a little bit underwhelming if you're looking for something like that. But this is where Sakamoto Days is kind of cool because while it does have some pretty crazy action scenes and it does have some serious moments, it also has some wholesome ones. Like this one over here, she's over here getting a chance to see what her parents valued, what they thought was important to them. And I thought the anime kind of captured that energy pretty well. But that really wasn't the best part of the episode. To me, the best part of the episode was actually at the end. Sakamoto pulls Shin aside and says, look bro, you're part of the family now. The Sakamoto family rules now apply to you. Now some people may not think that means much, but I'll tell you that in Asian culture, when you take someone in like family, we really mean it. It's like a level way beyond friendship. It's like blood deep without having the blood. It's like Vin Diesel says, family. Alright y'all, so what you think about the episode? Did you enjoy it? Is it moving at a pace that's cool for you? Or do you want to see more out of it? It's awesome that we're getting episodes dropped weekly, but it kind of sucks that people in Japan get to be 1 episode ahead of us in the States. I wish there was a way to fix that without people having a VPN or having to sail the high seas, because it'd be nice to watch everything at the same time as everyone else in the world. But it's all good. I think the next video I'm dropping is going to be about the differences between the manga and the anime, because there actually are a lot, and I feel like the anime did miss out on some pretty funny stories. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. So episode 3 of Sakamoto Days just dropped, at least here in America, because in Japan they already got episode 4. But now, by episode 3, you would know for most animes what direction it's taken, what kind of vibe it has, whether or not you want to continue watching it. Now I'll start off by saying that episode 1, to me, it was a banger. Episode 2, it was pretty good, but it didn't have the same punch. And episode 3, it was pretty solid. I think after this episode, people will know whether or not they want to keep watching it. So if you're here for a recap and a breakdown, you came to the right place, but I'll let you know right off the bat, I think that you could probably hold off on watching episode 3 and just watch episode 3 and 4 back to back whenever episode 4 drops for you. Alright, that's enough yapping, let's get into it. So off the rip, we get introduced to this dude Nagumo. This dude was a hitman who started out at the same time as Sakamoto, but he looks hella young. Now apparently word got out that Sakamoto is back in the business, and some people, they want his head. Now I guess they go back, and I guess they must have been homies at some point in the game, because he was cool enough to let him know that, hey bro, you got a 1 billion yen bounty on your head. Now, if you think about that, that's actually $6.4 million. That's kind of large. Now, this sets up the rest of the episode because it lets us know that, there's gonna be some assassins coming after Sakamoto, and how is he gonna deal with that? Well, that's what we're gonna find out this episode, because Sakamoto got a family date with his daughter at an amusement park. Now, you might be thinking the episode's gonna be about how is Sakamoto gonna defend his family during this time, but it's actually really not. It's a little bit more so about Shin and how he protects the family. And I guess this is why some people compare Sakamoto Days to Spy Family, because you kind of get some similar vibes. You got some wholesome stuff, you got some pretty cool action, and to be honest with you, you got some brutality mixed in with humor. But enough about Spy Family, because today we gotta be talking about Shin. So at the amusement park, we see Lu and Shin fend off one attack from an assassin. I mean, that's low-key a lie. It's more like Sakamoto did, but they cleaned up. Now, I gotta give a shout out to the animation studio because they did a great job of doing this scene right here. If you look at the manga panel, it's actually not too detailed and you can't really tell what action was taken, how they slammed them into a cart and took them off, but the animation studio did a great job of doing that. So shout out to you. But moving on, the main fight of this episode between this gray-haired dude and Shin was amazing. See, what I liked about this was that they pretty much allowed this to be a one-on-one fight. Now, I'm sure a lot more people want to see more Sakamoto action, but to be honest with you, I feel like we got enough in episodes 1 and 2. So seeing a one-on-one fight with pretty much just Shin was legit for me. Now, what was cool about this fight was that we started to see a little bit more potential. And what I mean by that is we got more duo potential between Shin and Sakamoto, as well as power potential with just Shin. So what I mean is, when Shin is fighting this dude in the rabbit suit, he can't see at all. His brother is just basically fighting blind. I mean, his eyes were closed, right? But the fact that he trusted Sakamoto with his eyes closed, fighting this dude who's trying to kill him, it just tells you something. I mean, if that doesn't show that you trust someone, what would? I just thought it was cool to see this kind of camaraderie, because there are so many animes out there where it's like brothers type of thing or friends to friends, but this relationship is kind of different, It's like a mentor and a mentee. Now, in regards to Shin's power potential, I think there's something interesting here. The fact that he could listen, learn, and apply just right on the fly, I think that shows you something. I think this lets us know that he has a lot of combat prowess already, and he has a lot more combat potential down the line. I mean, to be honest with you, this whole episode kind of just gave me vibes of this is going to be Sakamoto's protege, and I was cool with that. But yeah, that pretty much just wraps up the episode. Not a whole lot really happened. I mean, if I had to break it down to just bullet points, it would just be like Sakamoto got a huge bounty on his head. He took his family out to an amusement park, and he fended off a couple attacks. Now, with episode 4 and beyond, I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen. For anime-only watchers, you probably wouldn't think anything was missing. I mean, from episode 1, 2, and 3, everything was smooth. But for the manga readers, you could kind of tell something is a little bit off. And I mentioned this before in the recap for episode 2, but you could kind of tell that there's something missing. And yeah, that's because a few chapters are missing. So I don't know what's going to go on. Are they going to skip more chapters? As long as they're not skipping anything that is super essential, I'm okay with that. I don't mind if they skip out on these little side stories that don't really contribute to the main plot. But I do think it would be cool if they added that to like the post credits or something like that. Just had a nice little snippet. An anime that did that really well was Fire Force. Alright fam, that's all I got for you today. Now, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more recaps and breakdowns in the future, just hit me with a like and sub, and I'll try to do more of these for you. And as a bonus, doing that is free. Alright y'all, I'm out. Peace.